Hey guys, hello from Circle Healing Network. It's Robin McClendon, your host, and I'm back here with Reverend Dr. Saralise Azrael, and we're doing another show here. I'm always squeezing it in between. You're traveling around the world, Saralise, and I'm getting ready to head off on a archaeological expedition. So you and I were like, okay, let's get this done because it's going to be a few weeks. So we want to do an update. So just thanking my guest for being here once again. Hey.
Hey.
So today, and also I want to thank all of my viewers, and I just really want to thank you guys for tuning into the channel and all of your comments. So many wonderful comments and sharing your experiences. And they really do help me as well, because a lot of times all this stuff is confirmation. Just because we're on this side of the screen making these videos doesn't mean that we don't need confirmation or we don't need the feedback, because we're all in this together, or we wouldn't be connecting. So I want to say that. I just want to thank you guys. I have an awesome group of followers, and you are appreciated, and I love our interaction. So today we're here with Saralise, and she's in the British Isles doing her work on her global pilgrimage. I have the worst British accent. I went to school there, I live there, and I used to try my best at it, and I suck. I just can't do it.
What do you mean?
I know, I can't even do that at all.
All right then.
You got it, girl.
I've been here long enough now.
Yes, I tell you, I was there for years and I still couldn't get it. Like, I would try, but I'm like, okay, ain't my thing. I'm not a good impersonator. But so today you're gonna kind of catch us up on what's been going on. And you and I, before we sign on here, we were talking about our update on the Mandela effects. I mean, it's interesting because it's called Mandela. It's now also called Toto, which is like Dorothy's little dog, because it's like a slightly different variation on the Mandela. All of it really is about reality shifting. It's about we're moving into that beautiful time when we're jumping dimensions. We've heard about it for years, going to the fifth dimension. It was even a music group called the Fifth Dimensions. Remember, they were talking about all the Galactic, had the beautiful music. Yeah. So we're here now, guys. We're just here now, and no one knew what to expect. We're in it, and we're riding this boat through to the other side, because I'm going to be in the fifth dimension. So I'm just going to go through this wormhole with everybody else. So we wanted to talk a little bit about that as you share. Now, I want you to first share, but we were talking about the new Earth, and I wanted to put that out at the beginning of this video because I want people to know that that's the direction we're going to go in, is because you're doing a lot of interaction with Earth energy, with the lays, and all that good stuff, the sacred spaces. And so I know Mother Earth is whispering to you and giving a better idea, helping. You're a part of what her evolution of helping heal. She's healing, and she's, like people make the analogy, she's like a dog and we're like the fleas. She's jumping up and she's shaking, and those of us who can hang on to those hairs are going to go with her, and the ones who not, well, oops. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Saralise, and just update us, and let's just get to kicking it like we do.
Yeah, so there's a couple things I would love to mention. One is the temporal nexus. Did we talk about this already?
We talked about that last show, but you can talk about it again. You can kind of bring it up for people who haven't seen that show.
Yeah, I think I need to revisit that. It's coming up in the field. So through Looking Glass technology, they had the ability to observe a temporal nexus that was coming up in the field in terms of the timelines. So we are in that temporal nexus from 2007 to 2024. And so on top of that, we have the stellar activation cycle, which is 2000 to 2017. So we're right in that window of time right now at 2016, where we are experiencing this jumble effect, right? You can't see forward or backwards. You're in the whirlpool of this reality, and everything's changing and moving. And the powers that were, I call them, have the advantage through Looking Glass technology. They have been able to see what's coming. And this time period is an opportunity for them to instill the New World Order. But it is also the time for us to create massive change, because we also have the assistance of the cosmic radiation that is being deposited onto the planet right now. And the way that the cosmic radiation sort of filters in through the magnetosphere is that it penetrates it and it goes through. So then when it hits the earth and it spreads like this, all of humanity is affected by it. So these powers that were are grasping to remain in control, but they don't really have that choice. Because the cosmic energies and the benevolent forces are making sure that Gaia reaches her destination of the 8th dimensional frequency, because we are actually already in the 5th dimensional frequency since about 2007.
Absolutely.
So that's when it sort of hit a peak. And then we're now going into this next level of kind of shedding, like you said, shedding our skins and like allowing all of that dross and that energy to fall off.
Right.
And so
that's good.
whatever cannot streamline itself energetically into that through line of 5th dimensional frequency of the now moment will not be able to sustain their life force.
Right.
But what is happening though also is the magic that's being performed on the planet that's not in accordance with the cosmic sovereign law of one is affecting those timelines. So they still, for whatever reason, have the ability to shift those timelines. And they're doing that by opening portals and setting up magic spaces, temples of Baal, things like that, and doing massive amounts of human sacrifice. So and animal sacrifice. So they're very busy right now. And so Gaia is asking all of us to come to the maximum level of our incarnation, like allowing ourselves to fully embody and fully incarnate right now, so that we can use the cosmic energies through our bodies and into the earth. Right? So that we can activate all the different areas around the earth that need to come onto the magnetic light grid, right? That's being formed around the planet. The new light grid, the one that is in true alignment with the original divine blueprint of Earth. Right. So that's kind of what I've been receiving as I go to these places. And I've been activating the original divine blueprint in all these places that I've been. And a lot of these places are still preserved and intact in the British Isles. Fortunately. So the energy has been preserved. I did a ceremony on the fall equinox in Merlin's Cave.
Okay.
Under King Arthur's castle.
Right.
On the ocean. During the low tide. It was absolutely incredible.
I bet it was.
Oh my goodness. And I didn't film all of it, but I did film my singing and some of that. What I've been getting is that I'm not meant to film the ceremony itself, but everything around it. Which is, I'm always in ceremony, really. Huh?
No, I'm with you on that, because as you just described what was going on in the dark forces and all that, I mean, there is a lot of frequency on there that can be duplicated and then used, so that's it goes back to frequency.
Yeah. And that level of frequency anyway blows out my phone and blows out everything. So you just kind of keep it on you can still receive a lot.
Right.
But when you go into that full hold barred situation, you gotta kind of take it down a notch.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't film it. Is what I'm saying. Sorry.
Right. I know what you mean. Well, we know what you mean.
Yeah. So I've discovered there's a lot of work here that needs to be done still. And you know, with all the distractions that are being created around the election and Brad Pitt and Angelina getting divorced, and like what I realized is that we are definitely on a different timeline.
Absolutely.
Because on the previous timeline, Brad Pitt and Angelina would not be getting divorced. But he's back now. The true Brad Pitt is back now.
Right.
And now he's like not having it anymore. He's not tolerating this BS that's been happening. So he's starting to speak up. And when he started to speak up, they tried to bash him and make him look bad.
Right.
So and that's also a huge distraction from Americans paying attention to this dog and pony show and really looking at how ridiculous it is. So from over here, from my perspective of Europeans and like talking to people here, they're just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? People,
it's sad. It's really hard. I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They can't even, they're like, how can you even live in that country?
They can't even fathom how Americans is falling for it.
Yeah,
the routine.
They're stunned.
It's unfathomable.
Yeah, it's unfathomable. Yeah, that people would fall for this.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
but,
and I mean,
but in
Americans
America,
aren't falling for it either. To be quite honest, there's only a few, and there's only there's a lot falling for it, but there's only a few in our community that I see that are actually falling for it.
Yeah, people are because it's a part of the frequency, and it goes back to that whole thing when you were talking about the shedding. And thanks for sharing that, because I like how you've described that, and I hope that begins to help some of the viewers in seeing about how this whole earth energy is working. But it goes back to the whole idea of shedding, and as you deal with things from a frequency standpoint and an energetic standpoint, part of the shedding is that you've got to shed a lot of the paradigms, and a lot of paradigms about religion, education, race, wealth, all these things that have kept people in bondage and kept it on a division, on a divisive level. As you shed those, your frequency starts raising, because those are the things that keep the frequency low. But because we've been entrained to not question the Bible, let's say, or not question your belief in a God, or don't question the education system, or don't question the medical system, when you start questioning it, you get that little tightness in your gut, right? It's like, oh my God, should I be questioning it? Am I going to get to heaven? Yeah. You know, and then you got to keep on moving through it. And finally, when you get on the other side of that, you're like, whew, I can't believe it. It's like a birth thing. And so I get it, that it's not easy for people. I get it, guys, that a lot of you are going through this, and it's scary. It's like, should I be questioning this? But trust me.
Question everything.
When you get on the other side of it, when you get beyond it, you'll look back and you'll see the illusions of it all. Yeah. And I went through it. For a while, I couldn't see some of the illusions, you know. But you do see them. And so that's all, back to your point, it's all about the frequency. So that's the shedding. Those are like some concrete examples of where you can get into the shedding process and connect back to Mother Earth, connect back to nature. The whole idea of taking the nature walks, turning the TV off, getting away from all the electronics, sit outside in your backyard and just go ahead.
There's another piece I just want to share about that.
Definitely.
You know, you can put your hand in any moment. You can put your hand on your heart. Breathe in and be like, okay, does this resonate with me? Like, how do I really feel about this? And like really tap into the heart's intelligence.
Right.
Because that is where our most powerful emanation of energy is coming from. And when that's been blocked off, and we haven't had access to our heart space, it makes it very difficult for us to make sound decisions. Because we go up into our head and they're like, you know, but then when you bring it down into your heart, it's like, boom, boom, boom. It's
exactly.
It's like pulsing.
Yep.
You know?
And it's like really and to your point, and I've done a lot of work in this area, what I call heart intelligence, is your consciousness is seated in the heart. Your mind is seated in the brain. So when you really want to go to consciousness, people think brain. So you think of thinking, but that's not it. Like you said, consciousness is stored in the heart, which is a brain of sorts. And that's where all your intuition, your telepathy, all your contact with your higher self, with Mother Earth, with all of that stuff happens through your heart. Manifesting. I've always manifested through my heart, which is why when you really love something, money comes easily. But it was when you got to think through that thing is when the blocks to manifestation occur. And so, to your point, you know, I just wanted to say, and this is all consciousness, and this is all about us uniting our consciousness, right? Because we're becoming one. That's what the whole New Earth paradigm is about becoming one in unity consciousness. And so, but doesn't that go back to heart and about to love, back to love and how we love and loving, right? So there's a lot of connections there. Go ahead.
Yeah, and to that point,
this is like our conversations, you know, all over the place.
Right? The unity consciousness, interesting. Something came up around that recently. In the last week or so. And there's this idea that we have to do something to get to the unity consciousness. When in fact, it's not that at all. It's actually just us going and relaxing into our power. And relaxing into our oneness of all life. And then we're automatically connected to that frequency of oneness.
It's just about like being. And it's funny because one of the things that one of the types of coaching that I do it's around creativity, but it's authenticity coaching. And the thing about that is that we are taught not to be authentic from the very beginning. You know, as little kids, your authenticity is taught out of you. So when it becomes time to try to connect with who you really are, discover who I really am, you don't know who you are. I mean, you know, we have no clue because we've been taught not to be that. And to your point, not knowing who you are authentically does interrupt manifesting. It does interrupt your connection to Earth. It interrupts all these things, you know? And so the more you get back to discovering who you are, and I think that's what the Mandela Effect is doing. It's causing people to sit down and think, who am I really? What is really going on?
It's breaking up the programming.
Yep. It's
like interrupting the programming. It's like jolting people out of their automatic stasis.
Right.
So
exactly.
Do you have those pulled up? Do you have those two emails?
Oh, the pictures?
Yeah, the
Oh,
pictures.
no, we'll keep on talking. I didn't go in and get them. Sorry.
So I'm just going to share my little Mandela Effect in the last week and a half. So I was in Hungary. I don't know if I talked about this with you yet. About Hungary and the guy that we saw walking down the street.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that in the last show about how you noticed the glitches in the matrix.
Yeah. So since that point, though, so I've had a scar on my foot that I've had there since I was in my 20s. I noticed it.
Okay.
It was a little white line. And then in my 20s, it started burning when I was watching UFOs on TV one night, and I was with a group of people, and my foot was literally on fire. And I was freaked out, as you can imagine. And I was like, and somebody said, "Oh, you have an implant." What? What the fuck are you talking about? Excuse my French, but like, it's his name.
What the hell is an implant?
Yeah, like I'm sorry, but I don't have an implant. But turns out, then fast forward to 2013. Okay, so we're talking, I'm 44 years old. And I just gave myself away how old I am, but that's all right.
That's okay. You're looking good, my girl.
Why, thanks. Okay, so anyway, I decided when a veil was lifted and I discovered all these things about my life, I was like, well, I'm dissolving that implant. I'm getting rid of that.
Right.
Within the next, like that night to the next day, I had a huge laser incision scar, swollen, puffy, red on my foot in that exact spot.
Wow.
Oh no, not even a joke. So it didn't ever heal. It just stayed like that. And I was like, guys, that was some sloppy work. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing? So it remains there, and you can show the first picture, and a wart showed up on my foot. But I've never had any warts on my feet. This wart showed up out of nowhere. Right?
Wow.
So I had this wart, so there's a picture there on your email.
But the pictures are not coming up. It's funny, they're not. I went into my email. The attachments are not opening. And now my email is deciding that it's deciding it's gonna try to freeze and all that good stuff that we know happens.
Really nice. Okay, hold please.
When can you do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on.
Go ahead and do it. And I can do a screen share.
Is there a way for me to do?
Oh, you know what? It has to be. I think it has to be on mine. I think we did that before. Remember, we tried it.
Screen share.
Yeah, it doesn't. Try it. See if you can put it on yours, and then. Sorry, guys. We got this technology thing going on here.
I'm not even sure how to do it from my iPad.
Well, go ahead and talk about it, and I'll see if I can figure it out while you're talking.
Yeah. So essentially, I had this scar, these scars and this wart. And after that timeline glitch that I noticed in Budapest, I looked down at my foot here in the British Isles one day last week, and I was like, because I was feeling my foot, because I always feel it and touch it.
Right.
Because it's so weird to me. So it was gone.
Right.
And I went and I looked down and I was like, oh my God, that's not even possible.
Yep.
So I literally looked at my skin and looked at everything, and the wart and the scar and everything is gone. Like it's not even there, as if it never existed.
It never existed.
It never existed.
And it's so crazy because, you were sharing that with me, and I was saying to you that my daughter had a similar experience a couple of weeks ago, and I already did a video on this on this channel.
Same time period.
Yeah, it was just a couple of weeks because I just put a video up on the channel about a week or so ago where and if people want to go back to, it's one of my car drive ones where we're about personal Mandela. It's like these things are starting to happen personally on our personal timeline, separate from products, separate from all this. It's like it's happening on your personal timeline.
Right.
And I think that as various things are resolved, like fear, like connections to other things, what you've shed, like I think what's happening as you shed paradigms, like shed belief systems about all the things we talked about, religion, medicine, all that, whatever.
Or whatever else.
And you also, all that stuff. Right. And as you deal with really releasing fear from your system and all these types of things, you've changed your previous timeline. And now you're in a different dimension where that didn't exist. You're connecting with the self that didn't exist. So consequently, you don't have that injury or that scar or whatever, in your case, that implant. Because with my daughter, hers came when she was a little girl. She was out walking with her dad, and a dog, and she likes animals and stuff like this, but this dog ran up on her and it startled her, and she was like, you know how kids do, and the dog got a little frightened, and it ended up wrapping around her legs, and the leash cut the back of her leg, and it made a straight cut across, and it healed lighter than her skin. And it also had like little rays. It's like a little raised thing. And over time, it was it had pretty much gone away. And then this particular day, she says, she says, Mom, can the scar go away? We're back and forth on all of that, da, 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 da. And I said, well, why are you asking? There's always going to be some kind of residue, even over time. At 50 years later, a scar is still going to show something, you know.
Yeah.
And so she says, no, it's nothing, it's gone. So I said, let me see it. So we hooked up. I looked, zero. I'm like on it like this, like a magnifying glass.
Right.
Zero. And I remember seeing it because when she would walk in front of me, I could even say just as recent as a few months ago, I saw the thing. And she says the reason she knows it was there just recently. She says, because when I lay in bed, she said, you know how you just rub your leg? She said, I rub that part of my leg. I just feel it. I know it's there. She says, I have a clear memory of recently just feeling it.
Yeah, that's
gone.
Same thing.
So it goes back to, you know, it's like parts of ourselves, like even my experience of not remembering meeting Nelson Mandela. Well, clearly I've separated myself from that person who has that memories. But for what I'm doing and where I am in my life now, whatever would have caused me to have that memory, there's been a major shift. And so I'm no longer connected to that person, which is connected to that memory.
So that's an interesting point that I want to share about. So back to the scar thing. So the person I'm with right now, one of the people that I'm staying with, he said to me, he looked into it and he said that you actually changed the timeline of everyone with the work that you're doing. And that's why it's not showing up on your skin, is to show that you actually erased the entire matrix of that program that's been running in the collective.
Right.
To the point where it disappeared completely. And that's another reason why people are waking up at such rapid rate.
Right.
And that makes a lot of sense to me. And not only that, but I know from my own experience, the things that happened to me in the past, right? The memories and the hold, the trauma, all that stuff. I've removed the predominant amount of that out of my energy body.
Right.
And I'm a completely different being than I was as a child. I mean, they're two different people.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And so if anybody calls me by my real name, or not my real name is Saralise, but calls me by my birth name version of that,
right?
Oh my God! I'm just like, you're in the program. You know, you're like, bing. It's almost like a little way show or a little moment of like, if that person says my name that way, they are definitely in the old paradigm.
You already know that to be true.
They're holding something in their field that is deliberately trying to trigger me. Just from that name. It's things like that. Like I pay attention and I start to see if someone doesn't have the respect to use my name as it is. And they call me something else?
Right.
What is that?
And you know, it's funny. I have the same exact thing. I have not used, when I was married, I used my maiden name and then hyphenated last name. So I've always been Robin McClendon. And then it was hyphenated my last name. I mean, my married name. Well, I have now not been my hyphenated name for at least 6 years. And people intimately know, those who intimately know my story, like they say, my story.
Yes, story.
My story.
Get to know your story.
That okay, I'm back. I'm doing me. It's whatever. You know, those were good years, but they're done. Whatever. You know, I'm not a person who focuses on the negative. Well, do you know I have still people that want to still call me not only my last name, my married name, but without the frickin' hyphen. So just like Robin and last name. Yeah.
And you're like,
and I'm like, okay,
what?
And these are people who really know me. It's like, what? And so it's back to your point. It's like they're still in the matrix. They want me to stay back there with them. They know that there's a lot of trepidation and stuff around all of that. There's not freedom there. There's not unconditional love. There's not my authentic self. All that's not there. So how about, let's keep on calling you that, my love. You know, like you're supposed to be loving me, and you still. And it's crazy because I'm saying, you know, I don't use that anymore. You know that, right? And I'm using the name that I've always had from birth. That's not a hard one to remember, boo. You know, this is McClinda. It's been that. Okay. And yet you still want to, it's like you got to work to use the other name. It's amazing to me. So to your point, I'm right on with that. And others who are seeing that, pay attention to it, because Saralise makes an awesome point. Those are like your breadcrumbs. Those are like your breadcrumbs. Or handlers. Yeah, or like Kara St. Louis always calls, those are your sticky notes. Those are the things that help you remember
those are
what
heads
the hell's happening here. Yeah.
Which paradigm are you in? Which timeline are you choosing? Which dimension are you existing in?
Exactly. And if it's not the one, and generally it's the one that you're not trying to go back to.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. You know? No interest. Sorry. So that's another thing about Gaia and the work that I've been doing with her is, you know, one minute I think I'm going over here. Makes things a little difficult to plan. But she's sort of like, oh, no, you're going over here. And I'm like, this way, baby. All right. Let's check this out, you know. And I get to go to these places that I would have never been able to go to, like Merlin's Cave.
Yeah, that's
King Arthur's
awesome.
Castle. I mean, I am just over the moon about that.
So you haven't sent me that.
Incredible. And literally, I
you didn't send me that transmission, did you?
3.5 hours each way, like making sure I get there, you know, and I'm like, okay.
Right.
And then of course,
I don't think you sent that transmission to me yet, have you?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay, because I want to see Mr. Merlin's Cave
transmission.
I bet you sound beautiful in there. Your voice is already beautiful, and I can imagine with the echoing and with that.
It's not even that. It's St. Nectan's Glen too. There's 2 parts.
Wow.
So St. Nectan's Glen is the waterfall in my profile picture.
Okay, well, I'll look forward to that.
Crazy amazing.
I bet. I'll look forward to it. So, any more timeline glitch stuff? Any more things that you want to share that's along that line, and to help people, you know, like what are some of the, you know, because you're big on ceremonies, you're big on things that connect with the earth. Are there things that people can do to help them to connect with Gaia's frequency? You know what I'm saying?
Let me just ask really quick. So there's this aspect of us as humans that we somehow find ourselves separate from the earth. Even though we live on her, we are her, she is us. But it's like for some reason we just like, maybe because of the concrete or whatever, but there are places on the earth that have lost their natural frequency because of all the magic, dark magic that has been performed to eliminate those energies, or they've been damaged, or there's you know, control matrices in place.
Right.
So what you'll notice is if you do go out into true nature that hasn't been damaged, the vibration is so high and so magnetic that your whole body responds to it, and it clears out anything, any fear, any, you know, whatever.
Right.
So in an average everyday life, we're not being exposed to nature the same way. So it is almost imperative that we take responsibility for that, and we go out of our way on some level to ground with Gaia in some way. And so what that means is, like, let's say you live in a city and it's, you know, concrete jungle, and you go to the park because that's all you got, you know?
Exactly.
You go and you try to find that spot in the park, in New York City that's got natural magic, it might be a little difficult. It's there, but you gotta find it, right?
Little work.
Right. So the second most thing you can do is actually go into the water.
Okay.
So the water of Earth, of Gaia, and even if it's chlorinated or fluoridated, whatever.
It's water.
Shower, take a bath, ground out.
That's why showers are so restorative. Even just a shower is so restorative. Yeah.
Right. So finding a way to tap in with an element on a daily basis and give yourself that moment of time. And then during that moment of time, allow yourself to let go of your personality and thought matrix and really dive deep and ask, what is it that Gaia is asking of you or calling you forth to do?
That's good. That's good. Yeah. I like that. That's good. And as you're talking, Saralise, it's funny because I'm thinking about how society has manipulated us so far away from things. I mean, you remember all your houses ever had were baths, and you took a bath every night. I mean, I know when I was a kid, you could not go to bed if you didn't take a bath. That was just a rule in my house, you know, and I'm sure that was true with so many of us. And because it restored you, it relaxed you, it took it wasn't just about taking the dirt away. Even remember the commercials.
It was a cleansing.
Have a Calgon night and all that stuff. Remember those?
Calgon,
take me away, because it de-stress people, and that was at one point considered to be a good thing. But then when the matrix controllers were really trying to amp this thing up and really have a slave planet and all this, you started noticing those things started working their way out of our culture, even to the point that it was acceptable to buy a house with no darn bathtubs, just have showers. I mean, are you joking me? You have to ask, you had to have a builder put it extra in to have a freaking bathtub. And and then you got guilted into not even taking a shower every day because of water conservation and things like that. And I really believe that those were specific connectors. They're deliberate. They're specific connectors to Mother Earth, like you were saying. And those things replenish, it reconnected you, all that stuff. And so there again, that's about shedding paradigms, right? That's the stuff you look at, guys. That's the things you look at. Don't take that for, oh, well, no, it's just advancement. Oh, no, they didn't mean it. Oh, they did. I mean, this stuff is all done on purpose. It's not accidental. And one other quick thing. Go ahead. No. Wait, sorry, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Please.
To the point that Oprah has now endorsed Monsanto.
Yes. What kind of crazy shit is that?
What timeline is that?
That's the timeline that she's trying to keep Oprah Studios or our own network, because that's all threats. That's all about
own. OWN.
Right. Own. Exactly. It's crazy. And so to the point of even what you were talking about connecting with Mother Earth, I have to laugh. This is a funny story. So I live in a community that has an HOA, which I cannot stand HOAs. And generally I stay away from them. But being new to this state, you know, we are in this house now, but we're actually going to be, we're making plans to get back on our land and out of these HOAs. But anyhow, in the meantime, we're in an HOA. So I get a call, take this, from the HOA person, you know, who's saying that the HOA inspector went around to all the houses in the neighborhood and has made a decision that the bougainvilleas, they just grow naturally and beautifully wild here in Arizona. Beautiful,
gorgeous,
pretty pink flowers year round. I mean, they're just beautiful. I mean, they're just such a gift to us. Because you know, back east in places like that, plants die out, and you got to wait for only these little teeny pieces of the season. Okay, they want those all taken out. They've decided to take them all out throughout the community, even the ones that are on your private property, because they are now in violation of the homeowners association. They voted on it. So what they're doing for us.
I'm sorry. So they're going to make this more of a bland environment.
But dig this. They want the bougainvilleas taken out, and for a very reasonable rate, which is very reasonable. It's like $25. They will take them out, dispose of them, and if you buy the plants, they will replant a different plant, of which there's a list of the ones that are now acceptable. And the reason why is because the little pink flowers that it blows are all over the community. Is this not some retarded sickness going on? You see, folks, this is how, this is the matrix.
We should look up what bougainvillea medicine is. Let's look it up.
Okay.
The totem for bougainvillea. I bet you anything there's a flower totem.
I will. That's a good point. I'm writing it now. I'm going to look it up. But this is the sickness that we're living in. Nature is providing you a beautiful tree, bush. It flowers endlessly. It's wild. It's beautiful. It's everything. And I happen to live in a community where the homeowner association is bothered by the pink petals blowing around the community. That's sickness. That's third dimensional matrix, CERN, whatever, manipulating timelines to keep you in hell. Because how can that even be? I mean, like, I was laughing to myself yesterday. A plant can't even be a plant. We're living in a timeline where a plant can't even be a plant. If that's not crazy.
They don't have flower totems.
But I bet you there's some connection. Well,
there has to be, because the bougainvillea has always been a flower of joy and you know,
and it's
restoration, rejuvenation, relaxation, hot pink, magenta, color ray.
And it also is a plant that has thorns, so it's a very protective plant as well. And anything that's protective, anything that's restorative, anything is not of this timeline. It's just not allowed here, you know. But things.
Well, we can change that. We're changing the timelines.
Yeah, we're changing it, because things with horns are not. I mean, things with thorns are not allowed, but things with horns are.
Are you sure we want to go down that road right now?
I don't want to go there again. Already been there. So anyhow, we're coming up on an hour, my dear, and it's already starting to get to twilight.
Oh, where I am?
In your neck of the woods. I'm still bright over on this side of the day. But definitely, I'm so glad to catch up with you. I'm glad to hear that, you know, your work is going very well. I'm glad that you're able.
We haven't gotten to the big cheese yet.
No, so we'll talk about that when I come back.
Once it's done.
Yeah, or when it's done. Okay.
Yeah.
And
so
and I really appreciate. Pardon me.
Might be in Italy.
It might be in Italy.
Yeah, never know.
Well, yeah, that'd be good. We're still trying to hook up. I mean, you know, you got your schedule, I have mine, but I'm looking forward to, you know, maybe trying to spend a little time, if possible. If not, you know, I understand it. But thank you for the explanation about the new earth too. I think that's good. And I'm hoping people, I think the biggest takeaway with that is about frequency, really just shedding like that analogy of the dog with fleas. And the fleas are all of this, all these paradigms, all this stuff that you just don't need. And just by doing that, your frequency will start to raise. And like you were saying, Saralise, it's just about being, because just shedding and sitting, your frequency will just raise.
Yeah. So on that note, bugs to the light bulb, right? So when we are bright and shiny, a lot of bugs love to come to the light bulb.
Oh, that's good.
So you know what I mean? So we want to create a sphere, a rainbow sphere of light, or a scramble, if you will, around our energy bodies, so that we're taking care not to bring in that which we do not want, and only attract in what we do want, right? We were talking about that earlier.
Absolutely.
Right. So in relation to that, I had a thought. What was it?
I totally
oh my God. It was so important too. It was totally related to that. But
it's gonna come back. It's on the other timeline. You just gotta kind of like do a little shift.
So everybody, if you feel pain in your body right now during this time when there's heightened energies coming in, know that there's resistance in the field, and like check in with yourself and really find out where that resistance is coming from, or if it's coming from outside of you. Like, what's going on? Like, let's clear that energy. Let's clear our field and bring ourselves back into our, our center of clarity and cleanliness. And like, we got to go take 5 showers.
Right.
Go do it. But allow yourself the opportunity to really be free of pain.
Yeah.
So and there's a lot in your body. It's probably some kind of connection point from some other.
I agree.
Either timeline,
and I think it's also
life, or prior to during childhood, whatever, something like that.
And it also, to me, it's a sign of the shifting. It's a sign that you're you're moving into your more fifth dimensional body.
Exactly.
It's definitely about. Yeah. And if you, when that's happening, Epsom salt baths are good. Any sea salt, any Himalayan, black sea salt, any of that stuff is good, because salt pulls toxins out. It pulls stuff out. And so just doing that, I mean, it seems like it's one of those frou-frou-y things, but it really isn't. I mean, it's Earth's technology, right? I mean, it's about what really helps you. And to that point, I know I was walking around a couple of days ago. I was in a store, moving around crazy, like getting ready for this trip. And I kept on feeling like this, only way I can describe it is like an air pocket in my left side. And it's an area of my body I've never felt anything in, like, ever before. And it's in a weird kind of zone where you don't have anything. It ain't a kidney. It's not an intestine. Like, it's like one of those places in your body. You're just thinking, what is there? What's there? And, but it kept on feeling like it was like a bubble that was trying to pop. That's the only way I can describe it. And so I'm moving around and I'm taking deep breaths and I'm bending over. I'm in the store. People probably think I'm crazy. And I'm bending. And it wasn't painful. It was just like a weird, I'm going to tell you what it felt like. It felt like I was growing. It felt like a part of my body was actually elongating some kind of way. And that air pocket was there, and it needed to pop or something. So I remember just sort of like, and once I got into the car, I just sat down and I just kind of meditated a little bit, focusing on the body, gave thanks for my ascension, thanks for, my new body, thanks for all this stuff that's going on, because I'm assuming it's all for my better good, And by the time I got where the next place I was going, it had gone. So, I mean, I feel that I'm sharing that because if people are having those strange anomalies in the body, just receive them and just know that.
And move them.
If it's something really crazy, check in with your medical doctor. I mean, we're not trying to give medical advice here, disclaimer, but a lot of it is this moving into our fifth body, our fifth dimensional body.
Yep. And on that note about the fifth dimension, I don't know if that's the last thing I'll share. I don't remember if I said this about when I noticed that the Earth was in the fifth dimension already. And that there was this separation, this rift happening between the two dimensions was in 2007.
Right.
And then in 2009, I was on this bus in Los Angeles going home. And I remember looking around. And at this point, I'm activated, my DNA is activated. I'm super bright, and my vibration is just not matching Los Angeles at all. And I'm like, So I'm sitting on this bus and I'm looking around, and it occurs to me that everyone is just waiting to die.
Wow. Yeah.
It was like there was nobody, there was no light on that bus.
Wow.
And then I was walking through the streets and I was looking at everybody, and there was no light.
Right.
And it was like 1 in 150 people that I would see that actually had a spark.
Right.
And so then that started to increase, obviously, when I moved to Oregon and Northern California over there. I started to connect with my tribe more. But man, I was like in a sea, all by myself, and I was up until I was in my 40s. And so a lot of us have lived our whole lives without being in this bright, shiny being in this like sea of darkness.
Yep.
You know, and so now we have such a beautiful opportunity because there are so many of us waking up to find each other and to find other people that we can relate to. So we're not alone anymore. So those of us like you and I that have paved the way through the sea of darkness, we're like, woo! You know,
yeah.
We've got all, you know, all these young people coming in and like all these really galactic souls that have come onto the planet. It's just so, I mean,
it's awesome.
I'm just so grateful.
Me too.
You know,
me too.
because I don't feel like I'm in this by myself anymore.
Exactly. Exactly. I feel the same way, and I feel like, wow, you know, it's heartfelt because you know that there are advances. You're seeing the advances, and you're feeling that, you know, the source creator is definitely involved in helping us all be saved. You know what I mean? I mean, you have souls that are on this planet for the first time who've agreed to come here because they, you know, they want to help. You know, they want to help with this.
There's a 3-year-old in this house who's that. She is phenomenally galactic. Oh my gosh.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, because I know even my youngest daughter, just seeing the light, seeing the world through her eyes, it's like, you know, like, how did you come here already like that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, and it's like they know that they know. They just know it. It's not like they're asking or they're like we question it or we ask, because we came here and we were like, this don't quite seem right. We kind of questioned and came to where we are. But they're matter of fact. They're like stating it like a
straight up.
No, they're not expecting us to corroborate any of this.
And that's the thing though. They're coming in without all the karmic debt and heaviness and imbalance and the walls of thickness and darkness and black goo that we had when we were, you know what I mean?
Precisely, exactly. They're not coming with it. Nope. So anyway, we'll go ahead and close things out. We appreciate the update from the British Isles. And you guys,
I have all these really amazing videos. If you're interested, you know, by donation, you can watch these transmissions and get the full download. And they're incredible. All these places that I'm going to, incredible.
Yeah, definitely. I know people have started to take advantage of that, and some of the feedback that I've gotten is awesome. So we definitely want to continue to extend that. That's a good point. And those links will be beneath the video here for how they can connect with you in your PayPal account. And then you're able to send them the links to the videos. And they're just, I mean, everyone I've looked at, I've definitely received the transmission. Like they've knocked me out. I fall asleep and then I wake up like sitting in a chair like, oh, okay. Whoa, that was a good one, you know? So I do encourage people to connect with Saralise. Any donation is accepted. There's nothing too small, you know, with your work going out to thousands of people. If everybody sent $1, I mean, you know, how much would that help in your pilgrimage?
And people have been donating a lot more than that, though, too. Like, they're really getting a lot out of it, so they're actually really
right. And the thing is, a lot of times people think, but you have so many people out there that are trying to make ends meet, and a lot of times people think, all I can give is $5, all I can give is 10. Well, how's that going to help? How's that going to help her buy a plane ticket? Well, no, it does, because everybody else is giving. So we just encourage to give at the level of your heart and at the level of the value that you find in helping to support the pilgrimage. And we know that's on all different levels.
Yeah, I mean, this is in service to all beings everywhere. I mean, it's
humanity,
isn't really about me.
No. And you've endured a lot of hardship. Let's put it like that. I want to use a shorter word.
There's been a lot of interference.
Yes, and you're still going, and it's still beautiful and awesome. So thanks again. And I know you and I will be staying updated on our cellular devices and stuff as I move around over there with you. But and then we'll do another update, a catch up when I get back. And but again, thank you everyone who've stayed to the end of our videos. We appreciate you, and we hope that we love you, and thank you for all your comments and you know, all of the feedback that you've given us, and we appreciate that. And we only hope we do this because we just want to help. This is our way of helping. This is our way of just kind of being in the game. I've never been good at sitting on the bench. I've got to get in the game. So
yeah, me too.
However it helps
Front
people,
line,
I know. Yeah, I got to have a number on my back and be in the game. But so again, thanks a lot. Thanks for tuning in to Circle Healing Network.
You.
We appreciate that. Look at the links below. Please connect with Saralise, and if it's nothing else, send her a love shout out along the way. And until later, my friend, love to you.
Bye.
And your journey, and we'll talk soon.
Okay.
All right, take care. Bye bye.
Love you.
Love you. Bye bye.